Welcome to the Upshot, Ultra-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me, Josh Mansfield, on this Thursday, March 5th. No Pro Tour event this weekend. We're waiting for next week, where we will get the debut of the Big Easy Open in New Orleans. And we're going to be talking a bit about that today on a bit of an unusual show. We're going to do double interview, totally different universes, and I almost want to just not tell you what's coming. And just it's going to be a surprise if you're listening.
Let it come, Charlie.
don't put it in the title. Don't put it in the description. Just blank.
Back-to-back interviews. That's it.
I won't do that to you. Josh, first of all, time change this weekend.
Yes.
Are you ready?
You know what that means, right?
Spring forward. We lose an hour of sleep, but I've never been more excited to lose an hour of sleep.
You know what losing an hour of sleep means, though? It's gaining an hour of disc golf.
Yes.
Yes.
And the playground is going to be an option again for the kiddo. I mean, please, Lord.
Yes.
I'm ready to go. So here's what we're doing today. A little bit later, we'll be talking to John Houck. He is the course designer of the new course for the Big Easy Open. And it's called the Grand Cypress Bayou. That's the new name of it, at Parc des Familles. Grand Cypress Bayou. They're building it up. So we'll talk to him about the course, about some of the design aspects, like what to expect, some pretty interesting information about their new tee pad designs. And so we will talk to him in a little bit. But before we get to that, we're going to talk with Oskar Eriksson. Oskar Eriksson is a world champion and Olympic gold medalist curler who also plays disc golf. He's been in the news lately. Well, I'll leave it at that.
That's all you should say.
So we'll talk to him about curling and disc golf and how they relate and how their officiating relates and his thoughts on the two sports, and should be a lot of fun. So that's going to get us going. So we're going to just jump right into this interview with Oskar, and then we'll be back with John Houck after that. And we'll catch up with you before we sign it off. So Oskar Eriksson coming up next on The Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Well, guess what? Today, at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, they are dropping 3 special colorways of the brand new 2026 Octothorpe with the new rain cover over the putter pocket. And they each have unique webbing colors, custom shoulder pads, and compression straps. So you can take a look at them if you're watching on the YouTube. Steel and navy with the red webbing. The multicam black with multicam webbing. Got to cut that camo look. And then the Cryptek Typhon and black with OptiFade webbing. I don't even know what OptiFade is, but that's more of your traditional camouflage, green military style camo look. 3 beautiful looking bags. Again, they drop today at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. These special limited edition colorways tend to sell out pretty fast, so hustle over to pounddiscgolf.com. Joining us now on the Upshot is Olympic curler Oskar Eriksson. You probably know who he is, even if you're not 100% sure who he is. He's one of the most decorated curlers in world history. He's the first curler to get to 4 Olympic medals, including a gold, part of the Swedish national team that just competed at the Olympics in Milan Cortina. And he's also a disc golfer. And so we are very happy to have him on the show. Oskar, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Sun is shining here in Sweden, so just waiting for the snow to melt so I can throw some plastic.
You and me both. You and me both. It is a cold, snowy winter here in New York. Oskar, thanks so much for coming. I guess it was awesome because somebody messaged me, and we actually published a little short article about you 4 years ago from the last Olympics about the fact that you're a disc golfer. And somebody messaged and said, hey, you should reach out. Oskar, might listen to the pod or like he follows disc golf. And I was like, you know what, I'll just give it a shot. And then boom, you immediately got back to me and now here we are. How invested in disc golf are you? We'll get to the curling.
Quite a bit, especially during the summer. That's probably my favorite hobby. Probably enjoy it more than curling right now. So like the few months that I'm not playing curling, I love to play disc golf, and we even try to bring a few discs here and there when we go compete during the curling season too. Yeah, love disc golf.
How did you get into disc golf, and was it before or after you were already into curling?
It was after I got into curling. Mostly like a fun thing to do in the summer. Tried normal golf a few times, but it just took too much time and I kind of sucked. Then I tried disc golf and sucked there as well in the beginning, and now I'm a little bit better. Can make a few birdies here and there.
Well, we see you got the Innova shirt. I know you're one of the ambassador. I don't know if it's celeb status or quite what you got there, but like, do you follow the tour? Do you keep up with what's going on in the professional scene?
Yeah, I love watching the pros play. It's so much fun, and they make it look so easy. And then once in a while we go to try those courses, especially like the good ones in Sweden and Norway, and you just realize how much better they are than the average person.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like everyone who watches curling feels like they could be a curler. And I imagine, I've never done it, so I can't speak from personal experience, but I imagine if I went out there and I tried to do it, I'd be like, oh no, this is impossible.
I think a lot of sports are like that. Like the pros make it look so easy. And yeah, I would say like pretty much every sport is like that. Like the pros are so good, they make it look easy. You think you can do it, and then you go try it and you realize, well, I'm not very close.
How would you contextualize how big curling is in Sweden, where I know it's pretty popular, one of the top countries for curling in the world, versus disc golf, which is strong in that part of the world? I mean, we have pro tournaments there. I can guess, but I'll just ask, like, how much bigger is curling than disc golf?
Not really sure in numbers. I think we have like 3,000, maybe 4,000 members, like curling players. And like the average age is probably quite high. A lot of old people playing. It's a sport where you can be old and play, so that's a good thing. In disc golf, I'm not sure the numbers, like PDGA members. But yeah, it's easier to play disc golf. Like it's number of curling clubs. I think we have 25 in the whole Sweden. So you can't really go and throw wherever you want to. You have to find like a club, and disc golf is easier for people, yes, to play.
You've competed at the highest level of competition available in curling. When you see professional disc golf, what are areas that you think need to be like areas of improvement if disc golf wants to continue to expand its influence on the international stage, the biggest stage?
Keep growing, like make it bigger in a bigger part of the world. I think it's growing. Like there's a few parts in Europe that it's really big, northern parts, and then US, of course. Canada is big too. Not sure how big it is in like the southern part of the globe. I think if you can make it expand, maybe in the future it could be like an Olympic sport.
Do you think that there's any parallels in the gameplay between curling and disc golf? Like, are there transferable skills?
Oh yeah, for sure. The most, like the closest thing I think is like you think of a shot you want to throw or play in curling, and then you have to like visualize it. How am I going to shoot this rock, or how am I going to throw this disc to get it to turn or flip and do whatever you want it to do. And I think that's very similar in curling and disc golf. Like you have to pick the right shot, and then you have to execute it, and then after the result, you have to deal with whatever left. So it's very similar.
Pivoting to a couple pure curling questions before we kind of jump back into the comparison side. When did you start curling? How did you get into it? And just kind of like that background in the sport.
It's a family thing for me. My oldest brother, he's 9 years older than me. He started through school, go and try, and then he got hooked. Mom and dad got hooked, so I had no choice. They kind of forced me into it. I was quite young.
Okay.
You know, it's got to be a little bit of a bitter pill to finish 9th at the Olympics this year after you won gold 4 years ago and you come off 3 straight medals at the Olympics the last 3 cycles before this. How would you assess what happened? Because I mean, Sweden is always near the top at the international level. You know, what went wrong during round robin?
Just a rough start to our tournament. Played a couple of the greatest teams in the beginning. Lost to Italy on the last shot, close to winning that one. Then ran into Great Britain. They just played a perfect game. We weren't really close in that one. And then Canada was a close one. We had one bad end, and then we're sitting at 0-3. After that, we couldn't really turn it around. Got one win. I think if we won another game against the US or Germany, I think we would have had a good shot of reaching 5-4. But losing those 2 games, we knew we were out. So then it's hard. We know it's a privilege playing at the Olympics, but also knowing we can't reach the playoffs, it's hard to be that extra motivation you need to play the best game, the best few games we still had left to play. So and opponents, they were great too. So it's all credits to the teams we played, and the sport is growing. So every year it's a little bit tougher.
It's the Paul Macbeth attitude. If you're not getting first, then what you even doing there?
Yeah, exactly. Like our goal was to compete for the medals. Like any medal is cool. Of course, we wanted to try to defend our title, but knowing it's going to be tough. And in the end, like the last 3 games when we know we're out, it's hard to get that extra motivation. And for us, in a few years' time, I don't think anyone will remember if we finished 6th or 9th or 10th. So it's like Schuster's team when that beat us in 2018. I don't think anyone knows what he finished the Olympics that are 4 times he played.
You're definitely right about that.
That's for sure true. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. So everyone knows that they won gold, but they don't really care if they don't win a medal. It doesn't matter if you're 4th or 10th.
Yeah. Charlie introduced you by saying, you know, maybe may not know the name, but you'll know who you are. And I think that we've buried the lead a little bit on what is, because especially in the US, when the Olympics are not in the United States, time zone issues mean that people are watching a lot of highlights and coverage afterwards. And so there are specific events that really break into the American conscience when you think about the Olympics. One of those this year, because it was viral, was as I see described, a major controversy when you, and I don't even know the right way, called a rules violation against Canadian Mark Kennedy for double touching the stone. And I think this is instantly everyone's going to go, oh, I know what we're talking about now. Tell us a little bit about like what that rule was and that specific experience, because I really do think this is one of the things people like across the globe heard about from the Olympics. It really did go viral.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a problem for a couple of years that people are sliding over the hog line before they release the rock, and it's something we've been pointing out before at championships when people are doing it against us. And now at the Olympics, like it happened a few times in that game against Canada, and I called it out on their third shot in the game. So it started from the first end. So the thing they're doing is they're touching the rock below the sensor, so they could never have like a hog line violation. That's the only rule we have or the only technology that's helping the sport. So if you're touching any other part than the censored part of the handle, you won't detect it.
Got it. Okay, so sorry, real fast, Charlie. If you're still touching the handle over the hog line, you're saying there's tech that will flag that, so you can see that.
So
okay.
Then it will be red lights on the handle, and you have to take it away. All the other times, if you release before the hog line, it's gonna flash green instead.
But touching the actual granite part, I don't think it's granite. I have no idea. Touching the actual,
it's granite.
It is granite. Okay, touching the granite part doesn't have the same sensor, and so
exactly
it becomes an eye test rather than a technology to flag that. Okay.
Exactly. So we called them out early in the game, and they just said, "Okay, call out the officials." So we did. The officials stood there and didn't really know the rules. They just saw that it was flashing green every time, and we were like, "Come on, they're touching the rock after they released it. You got to look at that." And then they just stopped looking, didn't really care. And then the few wise words from the Canadians in the end of the game.
Yes. I think one of the words was "snake in the grass" is one description that I read.
That's what I've heard too in a podcast with one of the other players. That's his opinion. That's his way of being. I think he's the only one thinking like that. So that's on them.
Is it an advantage to do a little poke of the stone like that? Like, does it actually make a difference, or do you think that's like sort of just like a weird habit?
It could be both. I would say it's a weird habit, like it ticks if you do it every time. But if you do it here and there, and especially like pretend I'm throwing a rock here sideways. If you release the rock, the normal motion is like this, like you release it. But then if you extend your arm after releasing it, you try to poke the rock on the back of the granite, and you try to either give it a little bit extra speed or change the direction. And if you change that 30 meters away from the end goal, like if you change the angle just like half a degree, it's probably going to be a few centimeters on the other side of the sheet. Let's say, to do a comparison in disc golf, it's like foot faulting, I would say. You have your disc, your lie, and you choose to step a foot to the left or a foot to the right of it. Doesn't probably matter, but if you do it time over, like every time, you're probably going to have better angles at a few shots. So
right,
that's the closest I would like compare to disc golf.
I think the thing that comes to mind from a disc golf perspective is that, obviously this blew up because of the reaction from Kennedy, and, expletive-laden rant. But the kind of lack of officiation control became very obvious, right? Like, so we know curling is essentially self-officiated. There are officials there who seem more like they make kind of like rules clarifications or like maybe they make a judgment, but there seemed to be kind of like a lack of clarity on what was supposed to be happening next from an officiating perspective. And I would say we're clearly dealing with this issue in disc golf right now where, it's like sometimes the officials get involved and sometimes they don't. And we're kind of trying to figure out, are players going to actually call their own fouls and things? Yeah. And I could easily imagine a scenario similar to what we saw here playing out in disc golf, where somebody calls for a time violation or a foot fault and it becomes a big blow up fight situation. So, do you think curling and then perhaps disc golf needs to have more dedicated officiating at the highest level, or do you think that this self-governed style is still effective even at the international Olympic level?
I think the more professional the sports are getting, I think you have to have better officials. They have to be professional as well. Like, it's too much money and glory on stake. And if you just let people do whatever they want, some people are trying to follow the rules, and some might try to just make a few wrongdoings here and there to get a small advantage. So I think the bigger the sports are getting, we have to have better referees, officials, umpires.
I never in a million years would have expected to hear you say that the official, and maybe I should have given the video, but you saying the official at the Olympics didn't know what was going on. Or didn't really know the rules, which at that point you're like, where do they, right? Is this like a pervasive problem that you don't have qualified officials in curling?
Yeah, it's kind of a small sport, and like the officials that are there, most of them are there as volunteers, basically. Like, they're not getting paid for it more than per diem, probably. So they're not fully like educated into the sport and all the rules. And apparently there are different rules in different countries too. Like, according to the Canadians, you can't touch the granite as long as it's before the hog line. So that's what they said afterwards. But in one video of Kennedy, he's touching it on the hog line, so it was double fault. But international, you can't touch the granite any part of the delivery. So yeah, so at this moment, the officials didn't know that you couldn't touch the granite. So they read the rule book during the game and found out that they were wrong and we were right. So
crazy. Do you think it was? Are you glad that you called out the Canadians, or do you think it proved to be a distraction for you for the rest of the week, given how explosive it was online?
I don't think it would have been that big and went viral unless he had that reaction. So it wasn't planned, and if it helped us or not, we were 0-3 when that happened. So we had to change something. And of course, this is not the way to get the result better for us, of course. But yeah, I'm happy we called it out. I'm sad that the reaction wasn't better from the officials and from the Canadians.
Do you think curling rules will change because of this incident?
I hope so. Maybe the technology will be better and have sensors all over the stone, and that could help. That, like, then people can try to do it, and they get red lights on the stone and get pulled out. So yeah, hopefully something will change and make the sport more fair again.
Do you see any? I mean, you talk about it being a smaller sport. Recognizing the limitations that exist in trying to get qualified umpires. I think, is that an umpire in curling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Umpires, officials.
Officials. Getting qualified officials in curling, getting qualified officials in disc golf, and enough for an 18-hole course. I mean, it's a challenge and one that should be recognized. But do you see, besides the actual logistical challenge, any merit to a spirit of the game style enforcement between players as opposed to an official driven system of enforcement?
Not sure I really understood the question. Can you do it one more time?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. No, I kind of gave you a lot of, like, quite the lead up. Right now, both disc golf and curling have spirit of the game enforcement, right? Players are encouraged to call those violations, to be honest with each other, and to recognize that other players can make calls. Do you see any advantages to keeping that officiating if we had officials that were qualified and enough officials for the highest level in both sports?
I think, as I said before, like, if we're getting more and more money into the sport, is getting bigger, I think it's hard to just trust everyone to believe that they're doing everything right. If somebody sees someone doing something wrong and they're not calling it themselves, then we need the officials. So the more professional it gets, I think we need officials, umpires to do the job for us. Otherwise, it's just word against word between the players or teams. So to make it as fair as possible, I think we need the help we can get.
Your last tournament, the Skutberget Open in July 2025, you won MA2. Congratulations. Are you moving up to MA1?
We'll see. I'm not sure where my rating is right now. I'm 920 something maybe.
Okay.
Try to be a little bit better this summer. So hopefully, see. I don't know where the limit is for MA1. Is that 930, 940 maybe?
I think the cutoff for MA2 is 935. So once you exceed that, you're forced up. So you're getting close.
Gonna make a few extra foot faults, and I might be there.
You gotta get Innova to make a disc called the Stone.
Oh yes, the Stone. They have the Rock.
That's right.
Yes.
That's something close. So I'll have to talk to the people in Innova.
I was thinking a mini that says I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
I mean, the memes have been unbelievable. The Canadian hockey player in the gold medal match missing the wide open net, and it's like a picture of him missing, and then like the poke.
It's hilarious. It's been all over media in Sweden too, with the cross country skier falling in one of the events. Then there was the Kennedy tripping her.
Oh my gosh!
Are you? How well recognized are you in day to day in Sweden? If you go to the grocery store, are people like, oh? And has that changed since this most recent Olympics?
It usually changes after the Olympics a little bit. Some people are recognizing us or me in places like that, but in general, Swedes are quite laid back. Like, we're not really, when we see a celebrity, we're not all over them. Like, we respect people that way. And we try to ask, oh, look at that guy. That's him.
Yeah.
Or that's her. But we usually don't approach them and ask for autographs or photos.
What's
at least not curling players. Might happen to hockey players.
What are your go-to discs?
For driving, the Destroyer is go-to, of course. My favorite mid-range right now is the J. It's so straight. And approach disc is the Rhino. Love my Rhino. It's that's my three favorites, I would say.
What flavor of AVR do you putt with?
What is it called? The one that's a little bit grippier.
Is it the JK AVRs?
Yeah. And I've been putting a lot, missing too many putts. Just gonna improve that.
I did have one question. This is very much not in the right place. I should have asked it earlier. When you release a stone, do you know, the second it's out of your hand, oh yeah, that's going where I want, or shoot, no, that's off the line?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the rules with the hog line, you have to release it before that point. And depending on what kind of shot you throw, the more time you have to adjust in the slide. Let's say you're throwing a draw, you have approximately 4 seconds from when you've landed in the slide to release. And on a takeout, it's just over 2 seconds. So usually on a takeout, you can feel it right out of the hand, oh no, I'm too tight, or I'm too wide, or I'm heavy. Same on draws. Then you have a little bit more time to adjust that in the end of the release. And so you definitely feel if you're going to be close, or if you're off by too much.
Well, I watch curling every 4 years, and it's always very enjoyable. Good luck. I imagine you'll be back in the next Winter Olympics, and maybe we'll see you at a DGPT event too.
Love that. I love that.
Oskar, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oskar Eriksson with us on the Upshot. We'll be right back. Joining us now on the Upshot is one of the most notable course designers in all of disc golf. John Houck designed courses that you know, like RIP W.R. Jackson, Harmony Bends, and he is the designer of the forthcoming Grand Cypress Bayou at Parc des Familles, which will debut on the Disc Golf Pro Tour at the Big Easy Open next weekend. John, welcome back to the program.
Great to be here, Charlie. Good to see you, Josh.
Great to have you. Thank you for making time. I know you're very busy and you've got a million disc golf projects going all the time. I'm super excited for the Big Easy Open. I think not only is it just fun to get a new course on tour, it's fun to have a New Orleans course. It's fun to have like a swamp course, which is not like something that we really have. And I'm going to be commentating, so I'm like extra enthusiastic about this upcoming new debut. Tell us a little bit about this Parc des Familles course, because it's been in the ground, but it's kind of been wholly rebuilt for the Pro Tour, with the support of the tour and of the Jefferson Parish in well, I shouldn't say New Orleans, I guess, Louisiana. So like what has this project look like to get this course ready to go for next week?
Well, you're right that we've had fantastic support from the Pro Tour, fantastic support from the club, incredible amount of work. The parish, the Visit Jefferson Parish, everybody's had to do so much so quickly. We started in July, and we had to be done by early December. Anybody who knows this course knows that it's, for the most part, green and lush, and it will be more green and lush next week than it's ever been. So we needed to finish in early December so that they could seed it and give it 3 months to go. So it was a big job, and we had about 2 months of machine breakdown. So, but basically the course has been there since 2017. It has a completely different feel, as far as I can tell, from any course in the world. Huge, beautiful cypress trees. And there's content all over the internet, mostly of Matty O, gushing about how wonderful and beautiful it is. But it really is like no place else. And as you mentioned, it is technically swampland. So when it was built, and now with the new fairways again, every hole got 6 to 8 inches of sand from behind the tee to behind the basket and right side to left side to build it up and keep it dry. People who play out there occasionally will see drains. There are actually drains there in the fairways to help rainwater get out to the canal. So there's just nothing like it. And as far as the course itself, it's always had 3 sets of tees, red, white, and blue. Blue is generally made for 950 rated, so it's already right there where it needs to be for the FPO. So some changes throughout. It was a big priority for us to make sure that we got the FPO right and gave them the kind of track that they deserve. But MPO, completely different game. So there are 4 completely new holes. 4 of the old holes are gone. And that's all in a new wooded part of the park. And then within the actual footprint of the course itself, 1 hole pretty much completely redesigned, 2 other holes maybe half redesigned. The parish dug a new pond for us, which is beautiful. It comes to play in 2 holes. And basically for the MPO, all the 600-foot holes are now 800-foot holes. And the par threes are much longer than they used to be. There are 3 par 5s, all in the 1,000-foot range, and all designed so that you can play them in 3 shots and play for birdie, or there's a completely separate line that you can play in 2 shots and go for eagle. That's obviously very demanding to get to a wooded 1,000-foot hole through the woods, but I don't ever want to make the mistake of underestimating the top MPO player. So maybe we'll see some amazing eagles during the tournament.
You've alluded to a couple of them, but Charlie gave a very apt introduction that you've designed some of the most popular courses in the world. What are some of the tenets of your course design philosophy, and how do you think they show through in some of the ways, like other ways maybe that you haven't mentioned yet in this course for the next weekend?
Well, there's an easy one here, and I don't have a string handy, but here's a little headphone cord.
Get that out of here.
What?
We got no rope.
It's under 3 feet long, and it's longer than all the combined OB rope on W.R. Jackson, Hillcrest Farm, Harmony Bends, both Sela courses, and now Parc des Familles combined. So, the way the Pro Tour is, we have water features, of course, and, they have to have something out there to actually define the line, but there is no OB rope on any of the fairways. So I know a lot of players will be very disappointed about that. But that is a very important part of my philosophy. Now, to go along with that, we clear wider, much wider in many cases along the edges of the fairway. So if you don't hit the fairway where you want to be, you're going to have scramble opportunities. So that is a big part of my philosophy. There's nothing wrong with making a small mistake, and everyone deserves second chances. And if players are put in a position where they're a little bit off their game plan, they have to do something creative. And if they make a great shot, they can save their birdie or save their par, as the case may be. That's great for them as their experience, and it's great for us as spectators. So I'm hoping that there will be ample opportunities for those players to show us why they're the best in the world. And it was interesting because when the announcement first came out that the event was happening, I eventually checked and listened to you guys, and Charlie immediately said, wider fairways in the woods, and that is absolutely part of my style and absolutely what people will see next week. And then Josh immediately said something about maybe permanent home of Champions Cup, I think it was. Like, well, who knows? I like the way this guy's thinking. So, as you said, Charlie, it's not going back to W.R. Jackson. So very unfortunate, but so all the OB will be wet. There's no places where it's dry and we put down rope. Now, two things actually that are different in my mind this time. When we made the longer pin positions for the MPO, it's important to me on the par 4s and par 5s to have nice, well-defined landing areas. That's where you want to be, and if you're there, you're guaranteed you're going to have at least one good look to get to the basket or to the next shot on the par 5s. But this time, the gaps are tighter than we've seen at W.R. Jackson or Harmony Bends or places like that. So I think it's going to be more demanding on these players. Even if they have a great drive, they're still going to have to, for the most part, hit something fairly tight on the second shot. Also, the angles are set up so that on a lot of the holes, I'm hoping, again, I don't want to underestimate these players, that circle two is going to be a good shot. And it's going to take something really um, very high execution to get into circle one. So my hope is we're going to see a lot of scrambling, or more scrambling than we're used to at least, and that we're going to see more circle two putts than we normally do. So that putting will be a lot more interesting for the players and obviously for the spectators and the viewers.
You know, I'm curious, and I haven't seen flyovers yet, so I'm waiting to see the holes in a more detailed way. It's very flat. Like, this has got to be one of the flattest places to try to build a disc golf course. And then you have these interesting cypress trees, and what's notable about them is that they widen out a lot at the base. So there's like these huge root areas that are wide along the bottom. And it kind of creates this really different style of airspace than we're used to seeing. How did you integrate the cypress trees? Like, are you thinking about things like rollers, or like trying to use that base area as a blocker of sorts? And then how did you manage dealing with how flat it is? Because that can be a challenge when you don't have any sort of topography of note to like make interesting disc golf holes.
Well, you're absolutely right, and those are all great insights. As far as it being flat, one of the things I have always liked to do is to have shorter approaches on some holes, but to a tricky green. Maybe it's an elevated green, or there's some kind of terrain features or water, to where it makes sense for the shot to be shorter because you're going to a smaller, trickier green. And that does not really happen out here. There's a couple, one hole where the basket is down by the pond. We were able to elevate a couple baskets and that kind of thing. But I think it's a great point, Charlie, and something I was very aware of the whole time. So generally, that flatness results in longer approaches to the green, and so longer holes overall. As far as the cypress trees, not only are they very tall and straight, they also almost never have any low limbs. So there's no bushiness to deal with. And that means that we can have very clear, clean lines, which I love. And as far as the base, I am sure that the club has made special rules to deal with it because they've run tournaments there for so many years. But it's not just that they get wide, but the roots get spread out, and you can get a shot that goes underneath, and it can be under the middle of the trunk of the tree. Mm-hmm. So yes, so that is, anytime you're not going to see too many of them too close to the basket, but certainly on the landing areas, that's one of the things that can happen. If you miss the landing area by a little bit and you're on the edge, it could be a footing issue, because you may need to put your foot inside the roots or that kind of thing. So, and especially with the 4 new holes, very important to, whenever we had the opportunity, if there was a way to move the fairway over and still do everything we want to do and include more cypress trees, we did that. And very cognizant of trying not to remove them, because it's just such a big part of what makes this experience. So, yeah, no doubt you will see some interesting lies with people dealing with the roots there. And I think you're right about rollers too. It's definitely going to come into play. If I'm giving you a tight gap to get to the basket at ground level, where those 2 trees that define the gap, the roots may be actually touching each other. So, yeah, that'll have a big impact on players' decision to try to put a roller through some of those places.
You alluded to the length of these holes. Let's let's be clear what we're talking about here. 12,370 feet. I did some research before. I can't find a course that's over 11.5 on the Pro Tour last year. I might be wrong about that. And certainly no wooded courses that are above 11,000 feet. Do you have any concerns about that distance, or why do you feel like that's, and maybe it's just that answer to the approach, but I mean, I think you are going to have the longest course on tour. Any concerns with that?
It is something I've thought about, and I'm comfortable with it because none of these are holes where, like we see these two courses that are on ball golf fairways, and somebody can throw 500, 600-foot drives. Almost never happens out here. So, and the par is 68. That's a driver of the distance. And, going back to Charlie's point about the flatness, that's a driver of the distance. So I was very aware of not wanting to, force people to throw full out shot after shot, and I don't think that happens. I mean, here's a glib way to say it, but if you can throw 425 feet accurately, you'll birdie every hole out there, no problem. So that's all you have to do.
You hear, Charlie? That's all. Just 425.
425 on a rope to the exact spot it needs to go.
Yeah.
Game's it's easy game. Easy game.
Yeah. And I will say, and don't forget on FPO, we're talking, I think, 9,400. So that's a big difference. But, the point is, whatever layout it is, it needs to be the right drive distance and the right approach distance for that division. And so I think, I don't think it's going to be too taxing on people. And remember, while they're playing this course, they're not getting winded walking up and down hills, for better or for worse. So we will see. And again, I will say I did not want to be the guy this year who underestimated what these players can do. And if I did, then I did, and if I overestimated what they can do, I'd be shocked. But we can make changes for that to get ready for next year.
John's just like, I will not have that 18 down Macbeth compilation on YouTube be about my courses.
Well, he did shoot a 16, I think, at
I think so.
Champions Cup one round. So look, you can't ever say it's not going to happen with these players.
Yeah.
What's the best hole on this course and why?
Hoo-wee. Oh my goodness.
It feels like you just asked him whose favorite child is, Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Thank you, Josh. And that is how I normally handle the question, what's your best course or what's your favorite course? They're all my children. But I think it's going to depend on what you value when you say best. New hole number 1 is a fantastic hole. It requires a 400-foot water carry through a wide gap, but wooded gap, and cypress trees growing out of the pond. And then if you make that shot, you've got another 400 plus to the green, which will have, weatherman permitting, water in front of it. So I think, as far as an opening hole, that's going to be something that will really stand out for people. I think hole 18 may be the toughest hole out there. I think probably the one that will get the most votes when people are picking their favorite or their best may be hole 4. That is a par 5 that runs right along the canal. So the 3-shot route is to go kind of down the tunnel. Looks like a typical, wooded type of fairway. There's a water feature at about from 450 to 500. So most people will want to land short of that, and then put your second shot out on the edge of the canal. And that will give you 250-ish, 275-ish hyzer out over the canal to the basket. The 2-shot route on that one is to carry that initial water feature and put your drive out by the canal. I mean, big landing area, but it's right up against the canal and it's 500 feet from the tee. If you hit that, that's going to leave you high 400s. Big hyzer out over the water to the green. So I have a feeling that's going to be the one that a lot of people will consider the best or the favorite hole out there.
Do you consider the development of the game and the capacity of the players to be a challenge? I mean, obviously it's a challenge. Do you consider that to be like, I guess, creatively liberating to you, given in your course design and opportunities to change? And how have you adapted as they continue to get better and throw further?
Wow, what a great question. I think really, there are a large number of important principles that I rely on, and those don't change. Whether I'm designing it for the best players and the best men in the world, or the best women in the world, or a recreational course, the principles are still there. I did have a couple moments of nervousness last week when I heard, oh, Taylor just threw another huge drive, or Jessica just threw the longest drive we've ever seen, and am I going to have to go back and rethink and recreate some of the FBO tracks? But I really think what the top players do today is incredible. It's very difficult to put them in a situation that they can't respond to. So obviously that affects the distances. As I mentioned, it affects the tightness. And I think probably the biggest thing that was different for me this time was to try to find more opportunities to make Circle One tough to get to. Circle One used to be, we don't necessarily know what's going to happen. Now it's why even bother for the most part. So that is a big change, and I'm very keenly aware of it. I do, everything I can to understand what these top players are capable of, and the important thing, besides giving them a challenge, is giving them a chance to shine, because it's not just about how much they've changed. It's about, now we have spectators and viewers that we didn't used to have. So that's a really big factor these days.
Now I've heard that they kind of spared no expense to build this course, for Pro Tour preparedness. And that included paying professional landscape people to come in and seed all the fairways with grass. So are we going to have like lush grass fairways across this whole course?
100%.
That's 100%.
Awesome. And you're absolutely right. The Jefferson Parish went all in on this, from the parish council and primarily Councilwoman Van Vranken. The Parks Department and the park staff visit Jefferson Parish, Randall, and everybody over there. It was almost impossible for me to say, I'd like to see us do this, and them not find a way to do it. They brought in incredible amounts of dirt, the manpower that went into it. I said pond, they said where. The only thing they wouldn't do is put back a tree that had been cut down. So I had to work around that restraint. But no, the parish has been fantastic. They understand the value of disc golf and what it can do for their community. They understand the value of the Pro Tour and what it can do for their community. And it is what a blessing for us to be able to work with somebody who is that committed to making the best course possible in the amount of time that was possible. But yes, every fairway, every new area that we cleared out got new seed and a layer of ryegrass so that it would be green this week. And the entire existing course got overseeded with ryegrass. So very green, very beautiful. Nothing like it. And let's not forget, one of the biggest asks that we made was, can we please put in Dee's amazing new tee pads? And that was a big yes. So we've already got a little bit of feedback from players on those. I know there hasn't really been much announcement about that yet, but imagine your standard 6x15 tee pad, standard for Parc des Familles since 2017, which is big by a lot of standards. And these are much bigger and much more elaborate. And I got a text, or we got a text already from Aaron Gossage, who said he is a huge fan. And the other players that Dee showed them to have given him a big thumbs up. So that was an expense that the parish said, yes, we want to do everything we can. And you know, the first hole, we had to clear huge trees out of the middle of a pond. That was a big operation too. So yeah, as I said, huge blessing to work with a community that's just willing to do what needs to be done to make the best course they can for the Pro Tour and for everybody who's going to play it all year, because all these changes are now permanent.
These tee pads are massive. Like
they are, yes.
How like if you measured it from front of the concrete to the back and then width. Now it's we'll put a picture up of it on the YouTube so people can see what it looks like. It's
like a
not
spaceship.
Square. It's like I don't know, it looks like a funnel kind of shape.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So there's space to run on from all of the directions that you might want to run on from. How tall is it? How wide is it?
That is a great question, and Dee would be the right person to answer the width. But I can tell you, there are par threes out there generally will have 6x15. Par fours and par fives will have bigger ones. The biggest ones, which are on 1 and 18, I believe there's 10 feet of run-up room behind the 16 by 15, and then 5 feet in the front for a follow-through area, and angled out so that, you know, players who want to come in from an angle can do that without having to change surfaces in the middle of your run-up, without having to figure out how you step up during your run-up, without figuring, you know, how am I going to stop and not come off the front.
I'm picking James Conrad this week. I could say James Conrad was often in Dee's mind as she worked on these over the years, but they are amazing. She is amazing, and I think they're likely to be a game changers. She is an engineer's daughter after all, and that came out, and so I think people will really. The players will really appreciate it, and I think it'll add to the spectator experience as well.
So, looking at this image, and hopefully Charlie, we can put this up on the YouTube so people can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and it's got your 6x15 in the middle with the different angles, which for visuals, you know, I thought this was just a mock-up, and then reading the description, like those lines will be can be in place during the event for spectator visuals, which I love. I think that's a fantastic idea. Is the 6x15 the defined area you must throw from.
Yes.
Okay, so I can't just stand still out to the side. I'm thinking of which hole is it? Like at Maple Hill, the short downhill one to the pond. You'll have players that'll like put like their toe on the edge of the tee pad and throw. You're not doing that on these. You have to throw from the middle 6x15.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, if you think about, people have done things where, they take their concrete tee pad and they put like wood frame in the case of Maple Hill, or pavers or whatever around it, crushed gravel, whatever.
Yeah.
Dee was very insistent that we want to give players consistency all the way through the run-up. So same level, same texture, same material. So that's what that's all about. But yes, you do have to be inside that 6x15 area to make your throw.
It's going to be very interesting to see how players react to this, because it's a totally new looking thing. Fantastic. Where do you put this course in terms of like comps to other Pro Tour courses, maybe other courses that you have built? And, do you think this is the correct type of course for the modern Pro Tour?
Well, I think we'll be able to answer that question a lot better in about 10 days. But it is certainly my image of what the Pro Tour needs now. Get rid of the designer mandated OB, give players, the chance to scramble, give players the chance to show their putting skills, give them distances that's, not going to wear them out, but, is going to make them work in a way that's appropriate for them. I think we weren't starting completely from scratch here, right? We had a lot of holes that were pre-existing, and so as far as designing for spectators, that got a little tricky in spots. But I think for the most part, we were able to handle that, and those are all things that are part of the modern game. Making sure that the camera angles work is part of the modern game for the tour. So I think, again, because of what you said, Charlie, I think the flatness of it has a big impact on the design part of it. So, I have other courses I'm working on where the principles are the same, but the details change depending on the terrain. So, I don't think I need to compare it to other tours, other courses on tour. I'll let people do that. But in my mind, W.R. Jackson, Harmony Bends, Hillcrest Farm, same principles, same goals, just a different way to accomplish that. And that's one of the great things about disc golf is, you want to take the unique characteristics of that property and incorporate them and showcase them into the final product. So that was certainly my goal here, and we'll give the players their opportunity to take it on and evaluate when it's all over.
Awesome, John. Well, certainly looking forward to the event. Thanks so much.
It's great talking to you guys. I really appreciate it. Love the questions. I'm so glad that you'll be on the call this weekend, and whatever I can do to help. And
thank you,
Josh. Maybe we'll see you in Texas sometime this summer.
I'll send you a message. We'll see if we can connect and play around.
That would be great.
Thanks, John.
John Houck.
Thank you, guys.
With us on the Upshot. Thanks so much. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Upshot. Thanks to both Oskar and John for coming on. Much to discuss. Josh, what are your initial thoughts after the two interviews?
Well, Charlie, I think we have to share a little bit of a discussion that happened with Oskar after the interview. It turns out
he called the Prime Minister a cheater of Canada. No,
not quite. Turns out The World Championship curling is in Ogden, Utah this year, and at the end of the month.
Wait. At the end of the month?
End of the month, in March.
As in like 3 weeks.
That's in 3 weeks.
Did we just have the Olympics?
I guess it's a thing. I don't know. They don't. Listen, we did European Disc Golf Festival to World Championship in the course of like 10 days. So I think a month and a half separation is a little different. March 31st, Tuesday night, I have tickets to watch the Sweden-Canada rematch at the World Curling Championship.
Wow. Okay, we will tell you. Oskar told us he will be with his Olympic Swedish team at the World Championships. We don't know yet whether the Canadian team will be the same or not. They're having some sort of qualifying still in Canada.
This week, he said.
So we'll know soon. What if it's the same team?
I hope.
Gosh, it's going to be electric.
Oscar said he's going to bring me a Team Sweden shirt.
Oh
I wonder what kind of heckling is allowed in curling. Like, is it disc golf where I've got to be like quiet and respectful, or is it more like another professional sport where like I get to harass the Canadians?
Josh, you should
while we're there.
You should volunteer as an official. You know as much as the curling officials. Get out there, get to the hog line, watch it like a hawk.
Just pull Canadian stones off left and right. You thought Kristen's football was technical? Oh boy!
Oh, dude.
Boy! Just you wait.
This pod is gonna reach curling orbit, and then now we're gonna have a whole new audience. Hello, curlers! Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome. Yeah, so I have tickets for Sweden, Canada,
dude, that's
on
incredible.
Tuesday night, and then I have tickets for the championship on April 4th on Saturday afternoon.
Unbelievable! All right, well, we'll check back in about this.
Yes,
that's going to be fantastic. Amazing. Well, I think I get the sense, talking to Oskar, that it's still a split decision in curling about, like, do we want more officiating or do we want to keep it spirit of the game? I mean, it's the same thing in disc golf.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting. Oskar made the point a couple of times about more money coming into the sports, and that's what's creating the incentive. And that is so true in disc golf. When you have tens of thousands of dollars on the line for single shots, self-officiating just has such perverse incentives. And
clearly curling has addressed some of the things. Like, they have the handle
sensor
technology to know whether you've crossed the line. They have the little I don't know what to call it. Like, it's a measuring radius tool.
Yeah.
When they can't spot by their eye which stone is closest to the middle, they get this tool out to see who's closer. And so, it's not like they have no sort of objective officiating tools. They have more than disc golf, right? I mean, but it's also a much more technical sport in a lot of ways.
According to Google, it is called a curling measures. So, yeah, I mean, you were pretty close, to be honest with you. Okay, actually, real fast, we're gonna do a little mini trivia here, Charlie.
Okay.
Because when we were researching for Oskar, I just happened across this stat, and I never would have known it. What do you think the weight of a curling stone is?
I bet they're kind of heavy. I think they have to be kind of heavy, or they'd get rattled by the imperfections in the ice.
Sure.
I would guess, considering that it's granite and the size that they are, they probably weigh like 30 pounds.
45 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
I'm saying those are some hefty curling stones.
Yeah. I really want to try.
But
I feel like it would be super fun.
Listen, Charlie.
I have to say, I didn't say it to his face, but I'll say it now that he can't respond. I'm surprised he's not a great putter.
Me too. I really thought.
I mean, it's a different. I guess it's a different thing, but it's just like curling is such a precise, like, feel
consistent
and release point thing. I imagine he could get really good at putting if that was like the focus.
Sure.
I mean, this dude, he's played like every Swedish national team since like 2011.
Yeah, well, that's the perk of curling is that it's not a high impact sport. So
unless you get rocked by one of those 45-pound stones, crush your toe.
You get your drop it.
You know, I actually think under discussed the footwork. They got to like go down the ice. They're sweeping 100 miles an hour, and they have to like do a little dance over the other ones. I assume it's a big penalty if you hit one.
I can't even imagine.
I don't know what happens actually, but
I didn't realize when he was talking about like the different shots that like 2 seconds versus 4 seconds when you're playing technical versus a knockout, I think is what he called it. I don't remember. Takedown, something. I didn't like that's just double the speed that you're pushing off.
Right.
There's a lot of variance in that.
Yeah.
That motor control, because like the hand motion motor control, there are a lot of activities in sports that require that level of hand control. I think the push off control is actually more impressive to me.
Yeah, and like getting that right, and if you push off too fast, you have to then adjust with the arm. It's kind of a crazy sport, honestly.
It is. Well, Charlie, next time you come to Utah, let's go to Park City and let's go.
I'm in.
Let's go play doubles curling.
I'm totally in. I've always wanted to try it out.
There's also during the winter you can do bobsledding.
Oh yeah.
You could pay and go bobsledding as well. So if we could go do curling and bobsledding and see how and then let's just throw skiing in.
Dude,
let's make our own Olympics.
We're going off the ski jump. Just
wait a minute.
I know what it's supposed to look like. I'll just lean forward.
Did you?
It is with a heavy heart that the Upshot must report that Charlie and Josh were brutally injured in a ski jumping accident.
Trying to do the Olympic sports. I'm
in a full body cast. Bring the mic to my hospital bed.
We'll do figure skating. We can get all sorts of events in here. Oh my god!
I don't even think I could do a single twist jump on ice skates. Maybe I could do a single twist. I've never tried to jump besides like just straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Did you play hockey growing up?
I did. I played hockey all through high school.
So you could jump. You could do some spins, right?
I maybe used to. I haven't skated in a long time though, at least consistently. So. And I was a goalie. Like, that was.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
That was such a fun interview. That was so interesting.
Yeah, and now we got this this brand new course. I have to say, I feel like we just don't know how it's going to play.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be easy at this length. I just don't think it's going to be easy. But I expect it to be very fair, very conducive to scramble players. I mean, it's got Ricky's name written on it, right? Like,
okay,
I think you look at the W.R. Jackson high skill players and you slap your picks onto them. Because I think the style is so similar. I mean, even if the actual hole designs are a little different, at the end of the day, if you can throw clean shots down wide fairways, like, hello, Isaac Robinson, I'm ready to put you in my picks.
Yes. The reason I was going to say I'm not sure Ricky, I have the same take about Ricky, is that we'll have to see, but John is generally very fair in the rough, like kind of thinner rough. And I think that actually brings up the rest of the field to Ricky in a way. So
I see what you're saying.
Gap in skill, because other players who maybe aren't as good of scramblers usually are going to have better lanes than they would otherwise. So I think Ricky's technical ability in scrambling on really terrible rough laden courses is going to be compressed a little bit if John has stuck to that consistent style.
Let me give you Ricky's results at Hall of Fame Classic, PDGA Championship, the Worlds, and Champions Cup, dating back to 2011.
Okay.
The PGA Championship. To be honest, I have no idea if they played W.R. Jackson at this tournament, but whatever. First, sixth, seventh, second.
And maybe it is the scramble. I also think Ricky is just very good at hitting lines and shaping lines with. And so I think he's going to have that great opportunity as well. I'm not saying don't pick Ricky. I don't think it's going to be Ricky scrambling that wins it for him.
The last W.R. Jackson, your top finishers were Chris Dickerson, I believe that's 2022, right? The last time we had Champions Cup
I thought it was 2023
at Jackson. Was Ricky? We better check. On his Statmando page, Ricky did not play a Champions Cup in Georgia in 2023.
2023 was Champions Cup because that's Isaac Robinson's first win.
Okay, so did
WR
Ricky not
Jackson.
play?
I wonder if that was in the middle of that wrist injury. Remember,
Maybe
he dropped
so.
early season.
Yeah, maybe
I
you're
bet
right.
you that was that same year. Okay,
Okay, so give me the top finishers.
I'll give you the top finishers. Isaac Robinson wins
Yep, of course.
by 5 strokes.
Yeah, he dominated. That was unbelievable.
Dominated over Eagle McMahon and Nicholas Ontala.
Didn't Silas Schultz play amazing that week?
Silas Schultz was 4th, and then your ties at 5th were Matty O and Mason Ford.
Okay. FPO?
Kristen Lott doubled Owen's score, 27 under.
That was that season.
Oh, it was
Holy
that
smokes.
season.
The year before is when she lost a page on the 18th.
Correct. And then this was Kristen's revenge tour.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was one of the craziest seasons. I'll never forget that season.
I know. Owen was 2nd at 13 under, and then you had Kat Murch, Katrina Allen, Haley King all tied at 3rd. Hall and Hanley.
Owen going to start the season back to back? Don't count it out.
Don't count it out. Don't count it out.
Never doubt
it's
the
also
dog.
a lot more reasonable in distance.
Never doubt the dog.
Field. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Obviously, we don't have to make our picks yet. We're going to think about it. You should think about it too. Yep. Our picks will continue. Get into the subscriber Discord. Come check out our bonus pods, all that good stuff. And you can join for less than $5 a month. Or even better, save 20% off an annual subscription and pay even less on a monthly basis. And you can do that with code BIGEASY for an annual mini subscription, 20% off right now through next weekend. Again, that's code BIGEASY, discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. All right. We'll be back with you next week. We're going to be talking with Silas Schultz, who's from Louisiana. We're going to talk about Parc des Familles. We're going to talk about his bag switch, all that good stuff. And hoping to have a couple more interviews coming your way as we get you ready for the Big Easy Open. Hit us up anytime, upshot@ultiworld.com. We'd love to hear from you. Give us your takes, your reacts, questions, and we might tackle it in a future mailbag segment. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week right here on The Upshot.